Hello. Mic check 1, 2. Am I coming through? Cool. Well, anyway, Other Versus the South is essentially based on the global paradigm and hegemony and all that stuff that nobody really wants to talk about it, or whatever. So, this is what it is, right? So, sometime last year, I got arrested again. Just on some arbitrary merit. Hey, I was in Pretoria for the better half of the end of the year. So they chilled it. They like us. Okay? Talk to your Cape Town people. So what this is was that it was an open letter that my sister wrote. Her name is Zugiswa, and she finds the words that I can't. This part of the show I'd like to call Other Versus the South versus Other Versus the South.
Hi. Who's got that? Thank you.
Cool. When did it become commonplace and not worthy of being up in arms for the police to brutalize at will those who they are meant to serve and protect? I can't seem to recall the decree that declared the South African police the right to violently assault a young black man walking home after a night out with friends. If law decided when the police was meant to harass, mistreat and violate the public, I would actually be much obliged. My 23-year-old brother, I'm 24 now, my 23-year-old brother has been harassed and assaulted by the Cape Town Police Services more times than I care to remember, and each time the charge? Being black and walking in the streets at night.
How dare you? How dare you?
Right? He doesn't bring any picket signs. It is frustrating and angering, to a certain extent disempowering, to have to live with the reality that every time he is out with his friends, he may never make it home. Not for fear of being pillaged or murdered by criminals, but because, well, according to Cape Town law enforcement, a young black man has no business in the streets after dark.
Chris Honey!
Where did Chris Honey come in? Speaking for you, man. Who knows what he will do? Now, I'm not one of those to draw lines in the sand on the basis of color, and only because I wasn't raised that way, but because, to me, it's as nonsensical as being picked up and assaulted by the police on a charge of walking home drunk after a night out with friends. If it were the concern of being out in public while still being intoxicated, one would then think that the necessary logic to follow would be, in accordance to the serve and protect stipulation, that our valiant men in blue would escort the man home to safety. That to me would seem almost logical, where the assault and using tasers on a 23-year-old not being drunken nuisance but simply seeking the safety of his home would be justified, my admittedly porous brain cannot fathom. So I would like to say, with great certainty to the South African police, you are wrong, and inevitably the justice that is guaranteed in our country's constitution will prevail above your abuse of power and ill treatment of mine and everyone else's brother, mother, father, and children. The South African populace is reaching a frustration of your making is no longer a passive and ignorant community. That took a little longer than I expected it to. Only because Chris Honey came here at some point. I'm like, dude, aren't you 6 feet under or something? plus his grave got desecrated. Random fact. Now back to your regular viewing.